one should move away from theories.
Yes.
From ideas, from conclusions. But find out for oneself the truth of that matter, which is there an action in which there is no effort of will at all, and therefore no choice. So, what is correct action in which there is no will, no choice, no desire? Because the will is part of desire and so on. To find that out, one must be very clear, mustn't one, the nature of desire. And desire is part of sensation. And desire being part of sensation, and thought identifies itself with that sensation. And through identification, the I is built up, the ego, and the ego then says, I must, or I will not. So we are trying to find out if there is an action not based on the principle of ideals, right? On desire, on will, not spontaneous. That word is a rather dangerous word because nobody is spontaneous. One thinks one can be spontaneous, but there is no, because one must be totally free to be spontaneous. Do you follow? So is there such action? Because most of our action has a motive. Right? And motive means movement. I want to build a house. I want that woman or that man. I am hurt psychologically or biologically, and my motive is either to hurt back. So there is always some kind of motive in action, which we know daily life. So then action is conditioned by the motive. The motive is part of the identification process. So if if there is a perception of the truth that identification builds the whole nature and structure of the self, then is there an action which doesn't spring from thought? I don't know, am I right, sir?
Could we ask why, before we go into that, why there is identification? You see, why is it that this is so prevalent?
Why does thought identify
with sensation and other
with
things?
why does thought? Why is there identification with something?
Especially sensation.
Sensation. Answer. Answer it, sir. I don't know. You're all experts.
Is it the very nature of thought to identify, or are there forms of thought which don't identify with sensation?
Now, why do you, if I may again most politely and respectfully, etc., 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 why do you put that question? Is it a theoretical question or actual question?
Because
why do you, Narayan, identify?
Let me put it this way. The
Go,
only
no, I won't put it differently.
The
Why?
only thing I can identify with is sensation. I have nothing else to identify with.
So why do you give importance to sensation? Do you say I'm a sensate being and nothing else?
No.
That's it. No,
If I have to identify with anything, it can only be with sensations.
So is there a duality in identification?
Of course.
Could we make it clear?
In identification, as you point out, sir, there is duality. The identifier and the identified.
Is it possible that you're trying to overcome the duality by identifying? By
Yes.
saying I am not different? Is that when you are? Or when you feel you are?
You see, I don't want to enter into the field of ideologies, theories. To me, I have no interest in it. But I really, in investigating, I want to find out. Perhaps I've found out, but talking over together, is there an action in which the self is not? In daily life, not in nirvana when I've reached freedom and then all the rest of it. I want to do it in this life, as I live. Which means I have to find out, mind has to find out an action which has no cause, which has no motive, an action which is not the result or the effect of a series of causes and effects. If that exists, action is always bound, chained. I don't know. Am I making myself clear?
Yes.
So is there such an action?